doing today? I'm Coach Ambrose with Behind the Net Podcast. We're here today with Coach Boe from With Coach Boe. Unbelievable strength and conditioning coach, unbelievable agility, and also work with adults and personal adults. And I think he's going to have a boot camp going on here pretty soon for adults. So if you guys looking to get in shape and like I need to be and get yourself going, because once the body goes, the mind goes with it. So we want the mind to be able to go faster. So that body needs to go faster so we can be in good shape. But nevertheless, we're here today Behind the Net Podcast because Coach Boe handles all the strength and conditioning for our volleyball athletes, as well as he do a lot of football, baseball, and other players. So today we're just going to talk a little bit about what he does for volleyball players and getting them ready. This is the off season for a lot of volleyball athletes that's coming from college and that's out of high school. Instead of sitting around, I really believe you need to get with him, and we'll leave the information on the bottom. You actually can go through Ambrose Athletics, book your sessions, and we can get you going. So today I'm gonna let Coach Boe introduce himself, kind of share with who he is and what he do and what have. And I'm asking him a few questions. So Boe, go ahead on. Who are you?
Well, thank you for the introduction, and thank you for the kind words. But what I do is speed and agility, strength, conditioning, endurance with all athletes. One of the things that I had to do as an athlete coming through the ranks, regardless of whatever sport that I played, was to make sure that I was available to play. And I'll never forget when my football coach, when I was in 4th, 5th grade, thought that I was too small to play. So then that's when I developed the mindset of I'm going to go out here, work as hard as I can. And to be very honest with you, I had the mindset I'm about to come out here and destroy everybody. That way they have no choice but to put me on the field. So once I got that mindset, I realized that I needed to make sure that I had the endurance to stay out there on the floor or out there on the football field in order to accomplish the job. When other athletes were getting tired, I was available, and then also I was available to take their spot if I didn't have a spot yet. So I didn't wait around for the coach I didn't wait for the pecking order, wait for the coach to give me an opportunity. So what I do with the athletes, I like to install that mentality. I like to have that mentality where athletes, they have the mindset to know that I need to come out here and push, I need to come out here and work hard, and being tired is not part of the program. So in order for them to get that way, they have to train and prepare their bodies for it.
So if I hear you right, so what you're saying for most of the athletes here, first of all, they have to have the initiative themselves.
Correct.
You know, as we say in business, we can't do the push-up for you. So if they have that initiative and you're going to help them put the work in, that alone will probably going to elevate them higher than most athletes.
Yes.
That just that initiative to say, I'm not going to wait till the coach tell me what to do. He already told me what I should be doing. I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Correct.
Great. So I noticed when you're working with the volleyball athletes, you put in programs geared towards what they do. So if they are a hitter or middle person on the front net, on the front row, you do strength and conditioning based on that.
Correct.
If they are a libero, and I notice liberos are mostly like DBs, you show them how to get back, shuffle back, and track that ball.
Yes.
And if they are setter is almost like a quarterback. You show that setter how to be able to make those quick decisions, how to be able to read the defense, how to be able to also see their own player. So that is so unique as a strength and conditioning coach, because I see so many people that say they're strength and conditioning coach, but they're very good at it, but a lot of time they can't transition it into that position like you're doing for volleyball players. And some of y'all that's watching the video, you can see some of the things that you're doing. Mm. So we really commend you on doing that. That just shows your level of professionalism and studying that craft of what volleyball players do.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I know today you worked on different things. So kind of share with me, what was the purpose of some of the things, so I know what for the audience know when they see the video, some of the things that Coach Angel was doing. What was the purpose of those things? I know you're talking about the breathing, the mindset, those different things. Kind of share that.
So one of the things that coming into the workout today, I wanted to really focus on the mindset. And that mindset is really training your body and training the athlete to zone out and focus on what you need to do in order to accomplish your job. As well as we're doing a lot of hip movements to make sure that we're able to move laterally with no problems. That if you make the wrong move, that you can go ahead and correct that move and get to where you need to be at. So we're doing some change of direction.
Right, that's a good statement. You said hip movement. And I noticed that especially in pretty much all sports, it's going to involve the hip.
Correct.
All sports. I don't care if you play golf, it's going to involve the hip. So the importance of working on that movement is how important for athletes so they can understand. Because a lot of times athletes want to go straight to the dessert and not put the grind in.
It's extremely important. If you can't move correctly, you can't do what you need to do to become great at your position. One of the things I always say is I'm not looking for perfection, I'm looking for greatness.
Gotcha.
And what I mean by that, sometimes athletes, they like to put thought into what they're doing as they are moving. Okay, and one of the things I always say, thinking takes place before and after, but while we're moving, it's just all reaction. So I'm looking for greatness and not perfection. Perfection comes, and this is just my definition of it, perfection comes when you're thinking as you're moving.
Right.
But you have to have proper hip movement.
Right.
Without proper hip movement, you don't have your base under you. You're not going to get to where you need to be in a timely fashion, and you're not going to be able to make the play.
So also, just listening to what you're saying, it's something that I always tell when I'm coaching is how you do anything is how you do everything.
Correct.
So if you come here half-button your workout, chances are you're going to half-butt at the game.
Correct.
If you come in here goofing off, because I know in the volleyball world, we see a lot of girls trying to step in the gym, they on their phones, they laughing and goo-goo gaga and stuff like that. So how you do anything is how you do everything. But I notice what you want your athlete to do, time to get in here, they need to be focused on their focus.
Yes.
You know, and focus. So how do you get an athlete to change from, especially for volleyball, I'm just only using that. I know in football, guys are a little bit different, but for volleyball, how you get them to transfer from having fun to let's get in here and grind time they walk through the door. Well, how you get that mindset to because I know like Coach Angel, that's how she is. Her mindset is straight when she come in here. She go to the wall, she go to her stretching, without anybody. So how do you translate that to other girls to say, listen, this is what's going to help you at a D1 level in college or any level in college with that mindset of coming into the gym, not playing, but ready to work out?
Well, first and foremost, like with Coach Angel, she has an imagination. So she can imagine playing in front of 30,000 people.
Gotcha.
So if you don't have that, if you can't imagine it, you can't do it. God gave us an imagination. We was born in His image. So we have that imagination. If you don't have that imagination, you can't do it. But once you do that, you lock in. Because sometimes when we're training athletes, there'll be other athletes walking in. Some people might be goofing off, playing around before they're getting into their workout, but you still have to focus. And when you're out there on the court, there's going to be a crowd around there. You might have the other team talking trash to you. You have to zone that thing out. You have to stay locked into what you need to do and push through and stay focused. So one of the things that we're always doing, I'm constantly reiterating certain languages, you know, to make sure that when I'm not there, when the parent isn't there, that it's still in the athlete's head that I need to do this. Remember, focus, stay focused, make the play. So it's a lot of talking that goes on in order for it to be in your subconscious.
Gotcha. So if you're in a sport, let's use volleyball since we're training for volleyball, you got two athletes, both the same age, both the same people, both the same height, both everything. What makes that one athlete just unbelievable determined and the other athlete like kumbaya? What, I mean, they both going through they're both going to the same coaches, the same everything. Why is there a difference?
Most of the time it's the discipline. It's the discipline, the work that's put in, and then also it's mastering the basics. You know, one of the things I do with all sports, but mainly with volleyball, is mastering movement. You know, and it's just the basic movements that you have to master. Once an athlete gets fatigued, that's when you're gonna see that true athlete come out. I don't care how good they are.
Right.
But the one that's disciplined, the one that mastered the basics, is the one that's gonna succeed, making less mistakes.
Wow. There's almost taking exactly what you're saying and using, I've heard the coach from South Carolina, the basketball coach from South Carolina, had said, it's also who you hang around with. If you locked in and you all about doing what you need to do, but your friends is not locked in, they want to go to the mall, that means you probably better find some new friends.
Correct.
That means you better find a new association because you're locked in. So either two things are going to happen. They going to lock in or they going to unlock you. So don't take the chance for them unlocking you. So you better go lock in.
Yeah.
So that's something that I realized also, that difference, because you hit the nail on the head. When you come in here, you already got to be disciplined.
Yes.
Because without discipline, it ain't finna happen. You got to be disciplined at home, making your bed up. You got to be disciplined going to the cafeteria. You got to be disciplined, all those different things. Structure brings about discipline. Discipline brings about structure. They almost go hand in hand.
Yes.
So that's a good point. So what tip would you tell an athlete that's off season now? Even I know your football guys getting ready for football, but any athlete when they're on their off season, what do they need to focus on? It's off season. What do they need to do?
Well, I look at it as there's really no off season. The season just changes.
Very good.
So once athletes understand that, you know, the season doesn't end, it just changes.
Right.
Okay, so now we're into training, now we're into conditioning, now we're into strength training. There's different things that athletes can do to make sure that they're prepared for the game. Ultimately, that's what we're doing it for, to succeed in competition. So there's really no off season. So once athletes are able to get with the right coaches, with Coach Boe, and then also with Angel 21, you're going to be successful.
Absolutely. And now I was speaking to one of the young ladies that you was coaching to earlier when we first got here in the adult class, and I strongly recommend adults to come see you. And she said, I trained with other people, I've been with her, but he has this way of making me feel good about training. He has this way of why I want to be here. I said, yeah, Coach Boe, he's that kind of person. He's transferable. He's a person that can make sure that whatever your goals you want to reach, he can help you hit those spots. I said, all you got to do is make sure you get out the bed and show up.
Yes.
That's the only part he can't do. You know what I'm saying? But everything else, and she said, well, I ain't got no excuse. I live right across the street from the gym. I said, absolutely. So I said, if you lock in, whatever goals you set, he's going to help you hit those goals. So ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for tuning in to Behind the Net podcast. I just want to summarize what Coach Boe and I talked about today. One, how you do anything is how you do everything. Correct. You have to be disciplined. And one of the biggest one that he hit on, you got to have a vision. Anything you do, you have to have a vision. And add to your vision is something that I know that Coach Angel does and myself do. You got to have an affirmation. And you got to repeat that affirmation. We have this thing that we said, once you write it in ink, it would help you think. You got to write it in ink, though. Don't even write it in pencil. Pencil can be erased. Write it in ink. It would help you think.
Yeah. And
once you surround yourself with motivated, positive people, because that's going to make a difference. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing worse than a negative, dull, disillusioned, daggum crybaby. If you're training with that person, you better get you some new people. You know what I'm saying? We say if you can't change people, you better change people.
It's your village.
You know, because that's going to be the difference. And again, we'd like to thank you for tuning in Behind the Net podcast. Stay tuned for our weekly podcast here. And again, we thank Coach Boe. Make sure you get the information below. We're going to have, you can register for an adult class. You can register for group training for all the different sports you do. And of course, you can register for strength and conditioning for volleyball players at our link. Again, we thank you. We're looking forward to seeing you. See you at the top, because the bottom is too crowded.